Birdie,
Hey,
how are you?
wow, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for taking the time on your 4th of July to hang out with me.
You are welcome. I even wore my red shirt and blue hair
It's
and
it's
white teeth. I have
it,
red, white, and
it
blue right here.
it's Dorothy-esque with
Yes, do
the
you see
pigtails.
behind me that like
No, do you?
sketch from the Wizard of
Oh,
Oz?
there it is.
Do you see it?
I do. Yeah.
It is Dorothy-esque.
Well, you're just
That's my
all.
favorite movie of all time.
Is there?
Yeah, lots of stories about that, but
Do
we don't have
you
to.
watch it often, or is it just you think it was good from 30 years ago? Has it held up?
You know what? I haven't watched it in the last probably 10 years, but I think I've probably seen it a dozen times in my life. I sometimes will catch it just to see, yeah, just to kind of see, do I still think it's good? It will always have a special place in my heart because I will tell you why. I remember this and I don't remember a lot. I think this is pretty common that you don't really remember a lot about when you were like young.
Mhm.
But I remember this. I was probably 5 and I was sitting on the floor in front of the television. And this is when TVs were like large and sat on the floor like a piece of furniture. I don't know. That's aging me. But I remember I was watching Wizard of Oz and I was crying and she was singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And I started crying. And my mom came up to me and said, "Why are you crying?" And I said, "I can do that." So it was this really interesting moment that from that moment on, I knew I would be an actress or a singer, actress in that
Oh wow.
space. So it's very clear memory. And my mom remembers it actually too. So we talk about it sometimes. But so
Had
it's
there
kind of
been anything leading up to that? Had you been like in plays or singing or
no, I
anything?
was
Or
5. No, I was
no, okay.
little, very little. But then I was 11. My mom took me to this audition. It was like a community theater, professional theater. Like you get paid to be in the shows. But she took me to this audition and they were doing Bye Bye Birdie. Yes. And there were no roles. I was 11. I had very short hair. I looked like a boy. And there were no roles for little girls who look like a boy.
Okay.
So they actually gave me the role of the little brother, but they just made the little brother a little tomboy girl. So that was my first professional job.
And that was at 11, you said?
I was 11, yeah.
Okay.
And I sang and, was by far the youngest one in the cast. So that was it. That was kind of my first paid, thing. And I think between 5 and 11, I'd probably done some stuff. I don't recall. I think I remember taking like a summer camp theater thing. Um, anyway, that was my
And then from there, from 11 on, you were just fully committed until
yeah,
recently?
it's funny because I was always we moved a lot. I don't know if you've heard that about me, if you've heard my story. So we moved a lot. I went to a different
Mhm.
school every year of my life except for 2 years.
Oh wow.
So I was always trying to quickly find my friends. I would read a room very quickly when I would get to a new school, figure out who I wanted to be friends with. And I used the things that I could in my tool belt, which was my humor, my athleticism, and my smarts to make friends.
Mhm.
So I nurtured that muscle. And so I was really good in school and I was also a really good athlete. and I did have that sort of authentic performer person in me, but there was really no lane for that in grade school growing up
Mhm.
until I got to high school age. So I didn't really do a lot of acting. I sang and probably in church and like choirs or whatever, but I didn't really do the acting thing until I got to high school. And then I really knew that I had a gift, but I was always straddling like, do I go into that or do I do the school thing? And like, cause I was smart and I was also athletic. And so it's hard when you have, I think, talents to sort of pick a lane when you're younger
Mhm.
because you think you have to pick one lane too. I think you sort of feel like whatever you pick defines you, right?
Yeah.
That's like the group of people you're going to be with. Anyway, it's a little bit about me. Now I feel like I've done all the lanes and some of them at the same, all at the same time. And I've
Yeah.
realized
So,
you don't have to pick one thing.
yeah. So you were an academic, an athlete, an actor, or is it actress? Actress.
I
Eh,
like you can say whatever.
Okay.
I know actor is that's the academic way of saying
Oh, well, since you're an academic, I will say actor.
actor.
Yes.
But
So you've
I
done
think actress
all
is
those. And then what are you working on now?
so when I was in Los Angeles, I was in LA for 30, no, 22 years.
Manhattan Beach, right?
And yes,
Yeah.
and I was acting. And then when I was pregnant with my oldest, I have three kids. When I was pregnant with my oldest, you don't work when you're an actress if you're pregnant, really, until I mean, like if when you start really showing, unless they want to hire you, and then there's like all sorts of rules around that. So I was, I'm not a big fan of sitting still. So I got my real estate license, which is like, I thought that was getting into real estate. And I realized very quickly, like, this is horrifying. I have to like learn how to do contracts and then like just market and like stick a sign in the yard. And that's basically it. And babysit people's emotions around refrigerators and things like that.
Yeah.
So I did not like that.
Was it
Um,
short-lived?
it was. I think I did a few transactions, but it was like you have your license for like 5 years and then you renew it. So I did not renew it, but I was done after like 2.5, 3 years. I was like totally
Okay.
done. But then shortly thereafter, I started my design company because I realized that's actually the lane I wanted to be in. And so I started doing interiors for friends
Mhm.
and um it it went well. I mean, I got very busy and then I started doing in Southern California a lot of people use your outside is just as important as your inside
Yeah.
because you can be indoor outdoor all the time, leave your doors open. There's really no bugs. So I worked a lot with landscape architects and some of my work was published in a SoCal Digs, or that's what it was called. South Bay
So,
Digs, I think.
South Bay Digs. Okay.
Yeah, it was a little magazine. So, and then interiors. And so it was word of mouth. Everyone knew I was an actress, which is exactly what I wanted. I did not want to market myself, build a website, try to be like a professional. Like the design thing was sort of like a side hustle that I just
Mhm.
loved and I was really good at. And it was really more of a creative outlet actually than being an actress, which sounds funny, but if you're on a show and you have a character that you're developing from scratch and you work a lot on it, that's super creative. That's a big creative outlet. Or if you're writing something and then performing that, that's a huge creative outlet. But that's not the norm. I was doing a lot of commercials, TV, film.
So you're
So,
stepping into somebody else's vision of what
yeah,
what they
exactly.
wanted, and with the design work, you could just go off on
Yeah,
your own and do whatever you wanted to do.
right. I was creating and yeah. So, and so now I brought that to Charleston, decided 30 years acting was a good run and was really happy about all the things I got to experience and do and accomplish. And so I wasn't sure what I wanted to do when I got to Charleston. And then I joined the mentorship, sub two mentorship,
Mhm.
and then Owners Club.
Mhm.
And right after joining Owners Club, I realized, oh, this is a good quality group of people and lots of people doing lots of different cool things. And I can offer my design services to investors. And I don't have to, I can take the element of babysitting people's personal emotions out of the equation, which is exactly what I wanted to do.
Right.
And so that's what I'm building. So that I'm doing that now.
Awesome. So are you working? Yeah, I know the intention was to find people, in that community to work with. Has
Mm-hmm.
that taken off? I mean, do
Mm-hmm.
you have clients that you have on the books to work with from Owners Club?
Yes. So
Awesome.
yes, I've been around the country now. A little, I mean, I'd like to hit all the states. Actually, we were speaking about Hawaii before that we started this. Hoping to jump into a Hawaii project.
Ooh, with who?
I actually don't know their names.
Where?
Hawaii.
The
I
Big
don't know.
Island?
Yes, the Big Island.
Is it a
Google.
hotel?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know that
Uh-huh.
project? Oh, you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I,
Good people.
yes, yes, yes. Is it a guy and a girl?
Hmm.
Husband and wife?
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm excited possibly to do that. I would be really excited to do that. And I've kind of hit some of the corners. So I'm hoping to do some projects in the Northeast, which
Hmm.
you're familiar with. And then I've I've been in Texas a lot.
Okay.
And I think just because it's a big focal market for the community, there's a lot of people doing projects there. Florida and then Savannah, South Carolina, other things. So it's been really good. I've really enjoyed it actually.
That's awesome. And people are letting you come in and just giving you a blank slate and saying, please make this better.
Mm.
Or has there been a lot of hand holding, um, or
Um,
or backseat
no.
driving?
No, actually, it's been really good. It's been good. I think I've learned a lot. I've had to tweak sort of my approach, like my model a little bit. So initially it was
Mhm.
just a one flat fee. And I did do a podcast with Jamil. I don't know if you saw that. It was
I
the active
didn't know.
income sort of,
Oh,
and
I haven't watched
or
it,
a
but I saw it.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was good. And so he was sort of like, Birdie, that's not enough money. I was like,
Really?
I know, but I was doing proof of concept. I really was doing proof of concept and I wanted to launch it and make it easy so that I could get a few different projects right out of the gate. So I could just poke holes in my model. I just wanted to figure it out. And I did. So it was really beneficial. And so now I have three different tiers of pricing. And I
Okay.
really just like there's no reason I have to just stick to one thing. Like I really just look at the scope of the work and sort of say, this is how long. It's always very front end heavy. So I really have to consider that. And I'm flying to the properties because I'm a firm believer that trying to do things through pictures or on Zooms is
Mhm.
it's just going to fall flat. It's just going to fall short.
So
Um,
how long does that process take? So and I don't even know what you would call it, but your introductory week or so when you go to a property to walk it, to
mhm,
talk to the client, to
mhm.
figure out what their vision is, how it mixes with yours, and then starting to source those materials. Like, is that a full day? Is that
Yeah,
five
that's a good.
days?
No, that's a good question. So it really depends on the the
The
the
property itself.
yeah, the depth of the job. So
Mhm.
sometimes it's just a quick like fix and flip that's super bread and butter, like very easy. Um, and it also depends on how far it is. So if I'm going to go West Coast, I'm probably spending the night because it's
Mhm.
just impossible to do that turnaround.
Yeah.
And it would be a couple days. So I do like to go. I like to obviously walk the property, talk to the people who are involved. So the actual investor, and then contractor, builder, whomever is the main point person, project manager, whatever on the job. So I like to do that. And then I do like to go to some sourcing locations. So a lot of people have Floor and Decor. Some people just have Home Depot or Lowe's. Like wherever they think they're going to be pulling the majority of their materials,
Mhm.
I go with them there. So I try to let them know like the, you know, the basic idea and how to kind of look at the materials. But that's not really, that's more of just a quick overview. And then I actually come back and I do boards from that point. So I've already gathered from being there, what the vibe of the neighborhood is, what the best and highest use for that asset is, and who the
Mhm.
end user is going to be. So is it a renter? Is it a commercial space or someone's leasing it? Is it a hotel conversion, right, to workforce housing or affordable or attainable housing? Or is it a fix and flip? And what type of neighborhood is it as a fix and flip? So I really take all of that into consideration and I look at the comps. So I'm studying all of that really before I go. And then when I come back, I have a sense of what the best look for that asset would be. And I also, if I need to rework the floor plans, I do that. So that whole process in the very beginning, after I come back from a visit, takes 2 to 3 weeks for me to just really dial in on options. So I do sort of a couple options first go around for all the major spaces. And then I do a couple sets of revisions after I consult with the investor. And then we move into building the specific materials list and things like that. If they want
Okay.
me to. If they want to source everything and they're like, no, no, I have, because here's the fact, I don't have a trade account with someone in Portland, Oregon, but the contractor or the builder will,
Right.
right? So I'm
Yeah,
always,
you can put it all together and say, hey, you're going to get a better price if you go through your guy.
yeah, and I'm just going to
Do it.
create the map. I'm basically creating the map,
Yeah.
right? And I can't tell you where you stop off to go to the bathroom, but you can figure that out, right?
Yeah.
So part of my
Maybe.
let's hope so. Part of my goal is to empower the investors who are doing these types of jobs to learn the process of paying attention to the design and the materials and the floor plan.
Mhm.
That really is my goal because ultimately I'm building my studio that will open up a very innovative space in the development, design, build world of
Mhm.
full sensory immersion, because I think it's important for people to understand how much the end user is affected by the space when they walk in. And a lot of investors look at the spreadsheet and don't pay attention to the lighting or the sound or the materials that they're using, which make a massive impact.
Yeah. So you can have the most beautiful building in the world, but you walk in and there's fluorescent lights in your face, or
Or it just sounds like the sound is bad,
yeah.
right? The acoustics or um yeah, or the paint colors are off-putting. Like and most of the time you know this, but like most of the time everything we feel is so subconscious. The
Mhm.
meaning what our senses are picking up, it's all subconscious. It happens in milliseconds.
Right.
When we move from space to space to space, we go outside, we go into a new place. It's subconscious. So you're just feeling like you don't like the place, but you may not be able to put your finger on why.
Mhm.
So what I'm trying to get people to understand is that our goal as investors when we're doing projects is to have everyone who walks in the door be, fall in love with it or be excited about it. And how do you get that? How do you make your net large enough that that will happen?
Yeah. I
It's
love
not
it. Yeah.
just
So,
the monetary component. Because I'll
mhm.
tell you something, if you have an apartment that's $2,000 for rent and someone else down the street is offering the same sort of size apartment for 2,500 or 20, say 2,300, um but their property has so many things dialed into like that sensory, that sort of grab, that user, that renter is going to find a way to make $2,300 a month work
Yeah.
over your $2,000 a month.
Exactly. Yeah.
They just
Yeah,
are.
that's yeah, they're spending the majority of their time there. They're coming home. They want to avoid migraines or whatever it
Whatever.
is.
They want to
Uh,
love where they live. People want to
yeah,
love, they want to feel like, I don't want to leave. Nobody wants to have to leave their apartment building every weekend because they can't stand being there
yeah.
or their house.
So how are you, in this design process? You can sit there and do all the boards, put them up,
Mhm.
display, your vision. Are you using any sort of AI? I've seen in the
Mm.
past, you can like throw on a headset and walk around to see exactly what the property would look like, what the light looks like, with the birds chirping in the background, like whatever it may be. Is there
Yeah.
anything like that available?
Yeah.
Um,
So the VR headset thing. Yeah.
Thank you,
There's lots of
VR.
people that do. Yeah. That's okay.
Also,
I do use AI too.
glasses.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny. Yeah, sure. There's lots of studios that have that. My the uh studio that I'm building out, that
Mhm.
I'm doing a beta studio in Charleston. And then my goal is to have 10 of them across the country. So I'm not doing VR. I don't want people's hair to get messed up. Amazing. I
Their
mean,
hair or your hair?
my hair or their hair. I just keep it tight. Okay. Um, no, so everything I'm doing is super forward thinking. So as you know, AI is changing. I mean, the technology and innovation is just blowing everyone away.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, but there's all of these different hardware opportunities, I guess I'll call it, and then there's software innovation. And so I'm basically marrying a bunch of things that already exist so that my business model will be business to business. So if you owned an architecture firm or you were an engineer or you were a hotel developer,
Mhm.
that anyone who is creating, right? So architects and builders, developers, whatever, you would bring your drawings and, your CAD drawings, anything that is applicable to your building or your city or whatever it is you're working on, your project. So you would bring it, it would all get uploaded and there would be an intake form. So essentially, when you come into the studio, say you're developing a hotel or say you're the architect, you're developing a hotel, and then there's investors coming. So you would all come into the studio and you would actually walk into a bay where the lighting is exactly as it would be that you filled it out on your intake form. Say you're doing a hotel in Atlanta and you want to see the hotel at 2 o'clock on a summer day in Atlanta. You would walk into the bay, in the lobby of the hotel, the lighting would be exactly as it would be in the hotel.
Oh, wow.
Your scent, that where we use scent technology, so there will be this hotel signature scent diffused into the space. And you would see the lobby. You would walk into the bay and the floor would be the tile in the lobby or the carpet or whatever. And you would look up and you would see the lighting and you will see the walls, the three walls around you. And
Mhm.
you would be able to make changes real time for the different renderings that you may have worked on with your client. So you're the architect. Maybe you have two sets of drawings, and we upload both, and we have renderings. And the renderings now, are so photorealistic. It's insane. So everything is done to scale, and so that you are bringing in your investors, like you're the architect, you've got the hotel person and the investors coming into the lobby of this hotel. And then you can go out to the pool deck and maybe you go into the restaurant. But everything you're looking at, you're standing in the room and you're experiencing the smells, the sound. Maybe there's jazz music playing.
So
And
you're just sitting there on your iPad and swiping through. So okay, we're through the
well, there
lobby.
will be operational like tech software
Mhm.
people there, so
Yeah,
I won't be doing it and
of
you won't
course
be
not.
doing it,
But
but
in theory, like it's just you're
real
walking through the
time.
hotel or standing, and the hotel is moving past you. And then if you
Yeah, it's
say,
not really
hey,
going to be moving. It's just going to be more like main areas. Because
right,
we do
okay,
have things like everyone's experienced, obviously, the 4D modeling where you're like in Matterport walking
right,
through a building.
yep.
It's not that. That does exist and that's amazing. But what I find to be true is that even when you do something like that, and even if you have amazing renderings, you still have people that say, I just don't know what that's going to feel like
So
when I'm actually in the
this is
space.
yeah, this is based on senses. This is
Correct.
noise, like your white noise, your fragrances, your temperature, maybe
Yeah,
the outside lighting coming through the windows.
right. So
Super
it
cool.
takes that, it just takes because we've had the sight and touch design philosophies for a long time. You can touch a sample and you can
Mhm.
see a gorgeous rendering, whether it's on a giant screen in front of you or just on a flat piece of paper. Renderings are beautiful, but the rest of your body is not experiencing that sensory knowing that turns on all the lights in your body. Like, oh my gosh, this is it.
Yeah.
And if you're bringing five investors for your $40 million hotel into the room, they're much, much more likely to invest in something that they can feel. And it takes
Mhm.
concept to full knowing in in an hour.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's
That's
cool.
really cool. Yeah, I mean, like the whole sensory engagement aspect is so fascinating to me because it's almost like walking into an art gallery, right? And you see a painting, and with the right lighting or the mood or the silence or the craziness, whatever it is, it makes that painting, that photo, that sculpture, whatever it is. Yet if that same painting is propped up, against your car in the driveway, or in your very well lit kitchen, it's not going to have that same.
Right.
You're not going to have the same experience.
No, you
And
don't. You,
so,
you want to invoke an emotional response.
yeah.
And the only way, not the only way, but a deeper way to do that, or a more profound way, is to plug into our emotions come from our senses, right? So we have thoughts which create our emotion. And the thoughts we have even the subconscious thoughts are coming in through all of our senses. So it drives your emotion, and your emotion or what you're thinking drives your behavior.
Mhm.
So you could stand in an art gallery and have the most stunning music playing and have a very moving experience staring at a piece of art. Um, but you're not trying to step into, you can have you can have an emotion about it, but when you're trying to get people to buy into, like a client to buy into, this is what your new gym is going to feel like. This is what your hotel
Yeah.
is going to feel like. This is what your $10 million home is going to feel like. People want to know how they're going to feel inside the room, inside the space. That's people say it all the time. That's, as a designer, it's the one line I hear the most. I want my office to feel like this. I want my home to feel like this. I want my master bathroom to feel like this. They say feel all the time.
Mhm.
You can't get them to feel it fully by looking at CAD drawings or beautiful renderings, and no matter how big the screen is that you put it on.
Right.
So how do I bridge that gap in this industry that is, it's it's a emotion driven industry, right? It's like people want to create, it's creative. But we
Mhm.
have been missing, it's like, and I say this all the time, it's kind of part of my pitch. It's like, it's not the future, it's just what's been missing all along,
I
right?
like that. Yeah.
it, it's, I'm just taking what's real and just saying, okay, we've got to, we have the innovation now to create an environment for people to really go, oh, I love this. And then there's buy-in. The buy-in time shrinks exponentially, and change orders shrink exponentially. And those are published numbers, which I won't get into, but
Yeah, I mean that's incredible. Like I wasn't even thinking about that aspect of it, like the change orders where
oh my
you
God.
can, you'll paint the room, do the lighting, put the fragrance in there, have the sound system, and then the client walks in and just says, "Not quite right.
Yeah.
Rip it out. Let's do it over." So
Yeah.
now they spend a little bit of time and money to come to one of the studios to experience it in person, to eliminate any of that doubt that may have been there in the first place.
Right. Before you lay a single brick or stick or
So
whatever.
cool.
Yeah.
So when is this happening? How do
Well, I'm building it, right? I mean, I am in the process right now of building my team.
okay.
So I've got what's great, like I said, is that it all exists. So it's the team I build is massively important.
Yeah.
I need really big thinkers, big problem solvers, and hungry, talented software, AV, scent technology, lighting tech people. And
Mhm.
so I've had some really, really good meetings, and I'm basically building my team, and then I'm currently looking for my building, and then I will be raising the capital to put it all together. So the first raise will be um, the most important, because as once I build it and poke the holes and work it all out, then I'll be able to expand it in all of the other places I want to take it pretty easily. As long
Mhm.
as I know, like, I have this template. So,
Amazing.
yeah,
So
really excited.
timeline, is that 6 months? Is that 6 years?
No, it's hopefully 6 months. I
Okay.
think because everything already exists and I'm building a team, as long as my goal is to bring together, to have a team that already works together, but then also add scent and lighting technology. So a couple of different people. But I think in 6 months, as long as I can find a building, I can be I can be in and operational in 6 months and be working on poking those holes. And I also have to
Amazing.
raise the capital, which is not, it's 1.7, 1.8 million is what I'm guessing,
Okay.
but
Doable.
doable.
Yeah.
Says me,
Awesome.
who's never raised capital, but that's okay.
I'll help you out.
Why not? Thanks. Why not just give it a shot?
Hey,
No,
jump in head first.
it's really about the team, and it's about, because the vision is very clear, and I know I know it's doable because there are billion-dollar agencies that do it,
Okay.
but they're building skyscrapers in Dubai.
Okay.
They're operating with the big dogs, right? And what I'm trying to do is bring the Apple Store to the small to medium size architecture development firms.
Hmm.
So I'm basically trying to bring it more consumer facing. So it will happen at some point, but I want to be the one that brings it to market. I see it so clearly and I see the need. I mean, if they're doing it up here and they're working with clients that have billions of dollars, why are we not doing it for the $1.7 trillion industry that exists in just development, redevelopment,
Yeah.
design? Like, it's a big gap and it could save people
Yeah.
a lot of time and money.
Exactly. No,
So
I love it. I'm
thank you.
I'm in.
I do too.
So
I'm really,
how do we find out about it? Or do you have a
so I'm
website?
actually in the
Can people
process
just
of,
ping
yeah.
you
So,
on Instagram? Like tell me all the things because
okay.
I want it out there, and then I want to
Yes.
let you get on with your Fourth of July.
Thank you. So I am building a YouTube channel right now. I'm actually working really hard on being specific with my pillars so that it's not just a random YouTube channel.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm building that currently right now. So I think that my channel will probably launch in the next 30 days. And
Okay.
then I do have a website called heybirdie.com,
Okay.
which is just basically a landing page talking about me and everything that I have going on, which is other real estate things. And but IE the name of the studio is IE, which stands for Immerse Emerge.
Okay.
But IE is very easy to remember, obviously.
Yes.
Um,
Love
so
it.
I will be posting a lot about that, mostly on YouTube, and then I will be directing everyone to a page called IE Labs, but I haven't launched it yet. So you're
Okay.
really getting all the new info right now.
I feel very important, and I will hopefully be there before anybody else is.
Oh, yeah. Good. Well, you will be invited, of course, to the launch.
Wonderful.
So,
Um, cool. Well, Birdie, thank you so much. I know we didn't really get a chance to talk a few weeks ago when I saw you. And
yeah.
yeah, it's great to catch up and hear more about the origin stories and then what's ahead for you.
Thank you. It's really
Yeah.
nice to be here.
Yeah. Well, have a fantastic 4th of July, and I will
Thank
talk to you soon.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.